Hi, welcome to the channel. Today's video is titled Andrew Wilson versus Woman Who Wants to Police Humor. Interesting. I love this. We're going to check this video together, and I love your thoughts and your contribution in the comments below. Let's dive right in. So, this is a shout out to members. Thank you so much for joining and signing up to become a member here on this channel. Your love and support on this channel is immensely appreciated. And if you want to also, for those who are not members or who are not signed up to be a member, if you want to join to be a member, you can click the link in the in the description box to join to become a member. I really appreciate your love and support here. Thank you so much for sticking and being part of this channel. Thank you so much.
Like, I was listening to a comedian this morning. It was cracking me up. He was talking about our jokes, right? He was talking about our jokes. And of course, those are taboo. You can never make those. They're terrible, right? They're horrible. But he made this great point. And he said, the reason that people made our jokes and laughed so hard about them, right? Everyone was laughing. Wasn't because they hated women. It's because when you think about all of the things that are funny, it's really shit that's fucking morbid and horrible. And the reason that we're laughing about it is because we're making sense of the morbid world that we live in, and we're giving it context in a way that we can kind of deal with it. And that's what the whole point of, like, the best jokes really are. And if you really think about it, now, I mean, maybe not you, maybe not you, maybe every unclean joke is terrible and you have no sense of humor. But the thing is, like, for most people, kind of like the more morbid the joke is, right, the funnier it can really be. And that's why he was saying, like, you gotta start drawing some lines here on what it is we can talk about, can't talk about. It comes to our jokes. Or in this case, when it comes to social hazing, you're not allowed to do that because, well, after all, that could lead to bullying, or it's a gateway. And it's like, that just, I think, ignores human interactions altogether. So anyway, I'm done with my diatribe.
I was going to say, first of all, I'm not against every unclean joke. I'm all for edgy, dark humor here and there. But when it comes to our jokes, there's a lot of people who aren't laughing at our jokes or making them because they're trying to make sense of the morbid world we live in. They're making these jokes because they don't care about what women are going through, and because they don't take it seriously.
That's every joke.
But that's kind of a bad thing in this case.
So then no morbid jokes because somebody could be taking it seriously, or
no jokes made in that insensitive manner.
Yeah, right. Nobody's allowed anymore.
Is that what I said?
To laugh at at insensitive jokes because you think they're insensitive, even though, like, this is how we engage with the world. This is how
I'm saying no one should laugh at or make like our jokes.
I know that you think that, but my argument to you is, like, then why can they laugh at any insensitive joke? Who gets to decide, like, which insensitive joke a person gets to laugh at and which one they don't?
Sure. So, I mean, with an R joke, you're making reference to, like, women going through, like, a traumatic experience and their consent being violated, and there's lots of,
and
like,
when black people
assault.
are talking about slavery and making jokes about that, right? This horrible thing that's terrible. Right? What are they doing? They're contextualizing and they're laughing. When Blazing Saddles had a scene where it's like the sheriff is the N-word, right, with a ding, and they were clowning on slavery and clowning on Jewish people and this type of thing. The whole point was trying to make sense of this, like, horrifically morbid world that we live in. And how else do we engage with it except to laugh about it?
You can make sense of your own.
Okay, let her speak.
Experiences or regarding, like, your own demographic, but to laugh at someone else's suffering when it's like,
so then no insensitive jokes allowed.
Well, I would say,
anyways, let me even say this, because before she goes on, because here is where I don't agree with Andrew, because let's be honest with ourselves, even you as a comedian, you should have sense, because it seems like lots of people, and we see this for the vast majority of many comedians or skit makers, who sort of, like, make joke out of something that I don't even want to use the word insensitive or insensitivity, right? I want to use, like, when it comes to, like, an important matter in the society, because nobody, regardless of anything, nobody ever wants to be rewarded. Nobody, not even woman, not a man, nobody. So if you make a joke about it, that means you're making light of the situation, and you think And by laughing at that, you think that makes sense. Because even anybody who's ever gone through that, nobody ever wants to relive that experience, let alone somebody making a joke about it. So I just think, or potentially, as a comedian or a skit maker, you should have sense. Common sense is supposed to tell you that, okay, this is an important issue in the society. It shouldn't be joked about. There are some things that you can sit down and laugh over it or laugh over, but not in a public space where you think like, okay, let's make light of this situation. How do you, don't you common sense is supposed to tell you not to do that. It's not even about somebody telling you what to say and what not to say, or what to make joke at, or what to be used as jokes. But common sense is supposed to tell you what to do and what not to do. It's just like somebody using a PDF as a joke, or trying to make skit, because yeah, trying to make sense about it, trying to make skit out of that. Like, hello, how do you do that? How do you do that? How do you sit and try to make PDF as a joke? I'm I'm trying to understand, and this is just it. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. It's not about like policing or saying, okay, make joke about this, not make joke about this. But as human beings, we have sense, right? Everybody have the vast majority level of emotional intelligence, right? Emotional maturity and common sense. So common sense is supposed to tell you that, okay, there are some things that are socially important, and let me use that for lack of a better word, that you shouldn't joke about. Shouldn't joke about. You shouldn't. It's not this one, you don't even need somebody to come and tell you. Common sense is supposed to tell you. Or you just like making joke about people or somebody unaliving somebody. And how is that supposed to be funny? How is that supposed to be funny? There are things that your sense will tell you that, okay, no. Some people make joke about their um parents and their passing and stuff. To them, they think it's funny. On some particular level, that's I I mean, okay. But there are some things that you don't even come near. Even before now, who they use these kind of things they do as comedy. As a comedian, won't you have sense? You're supposed to have sense now. You're supposed to. No. Andrew, me, I know support you. I know I agree with you on this one. Let me know what you think, obviously.
There, like the line that I would draw is like, okay, well, it's obviously not going to be a clear line.
Yeah,
but
it's not a clear line.
When it comes to like, it's just kind of common sense though. Like it's
Some.
It's not kind of common sense.
okay.
It's
well,
common
You know, like
sense.
I find things funny that you don't find funny. And what makes it common sense that you're allowed to find them funny and I'm not?
okay, let's say I have a friend who like did something really stupid and like
Yeah.
I make fun of them for that, and that's like an edgy joke or whatever. Like your friends making fun of each other. That's
Yeah.
like one type of edgy joke. And then when it comes to an R joke, that's something that there's a lot more.
Okay, go ahead.
There's a lot more like that's a lot more of a serious
We understand.
matter.
Do me a favor, scoot 3 inches that way, move your mic along with you. Halloween happened pretty recently. What do you think about people who dressed up as Charlie Kirk? I'm sure you've probably
I didn't know about that, actually.
Going to the very liberal college and university that you go to, and being a confessed pretty leftist person, you seem to, at least the last conversation we had, also with you guys seemed a bit not so displeased with the fact that Charlie Kirk was assassinated.
I was very displeased. I made that very
Sure.
clear.
Given this, I'm sure there were people, college students, many leftists, who dressed up as Charlie Kirk with a fake wound to their neck as a Halloween costume. Do you think?
So when you like,
Would you find that humorous? Just, I
No,
wanna make sure
I don't
you're
find that funny. I
I
think
want to
we-
make sure you're consistent in your objection
Yes.
to humor.
I don't find that funny because that's something that's like very serious, and he just
Mm-hmm.
died, and I think that's disrespectful. And also, like you kind of pointed to me like, oh, people like you did that. I mean, I think there's a distinction that should be made between
I just want
normal
to ensure,
leftists and people like that.
Well, I just want to ensure.
Okay. First of all, let me even answer that because I mean, she has gotten or answered that part, but let me even answer that. But for me, how do you make a joke about unaliving somebody or somebody being unalived or dressing like it makes no sense? This is not even about, I mean, for a vast majority, they understand, okay, you're here or here, but that's not even humorous. It's not, there's nothing funny about it. There's nothing funny about it. How do you even say that, okay, you watched somebody, you don't, dressing as Charlie Kirk for Halloween? How is that okay? Or that's not okay. It's just the truth. It's not even funny. And people saw that's the thing. Some people don't even know. Anyways, these lefties, they to them they find some sort of things or some things to be hilarious because obviously when he was on the live, lots of people made videos about it, laughing and stuff because it seemed funny in their mind. It seemed funny, but it wasn't, and it makes no sense because you are just potentially showing that you're not human. You're vile, evil. Yes, you're vile, evil. If you celebrated to that, that's just what I'm gonna say to you. And to dress like that for Halloween, I mean, I've not even seen any of that, but even though you dress like that as for Halloween, you're having the next seater to the devil. That's all I'm gonna say.
Given this, I'm sure there were people,
Let me take it back. a
college
bit,
students,
sorry.
many leftists, who dressed up as Charlie Kirk with a fake wound to their neck as a Halloween costume. Do you think?
So when you like,
Would you find that humorous? Just, I
No,
want to make sure
I don't
you're
find that
Why would
funny.
you
I want to
think
make sure you're
humorous?
consistent in your objection
Yes.
to humor.
I don't find that funny because that's something that's like very serious and he just
Mm-hmm.
died, and I think that's disrespectful. And also, like, you kind of pointed to me like, oh, people like you did that. I mean, I think there's a distinction that should be made between
I just want
normal
to ensure,
leftists and people like that.
Well, I just want to ensure that when you're going to be policing dark humor, that you don't just, you have a fair application of
Mm-hmm.
that which you're policing.
Okay, you know what? I think when it comes to crimes, traumatizing events, like that's where I say it's kind of a weird zone.
Okay, so
So
at least
That's
you're
like-
consistent.
So if Family Guy makes like a 9/11 joke, no good. Too dark.
I mean, I personally wouldn't make it. Again, I don't, even when I say like I'm not a huge fan of this kind of joke, I don't go around like policing people and saying, hey, don't say that, don't say that.
Yeah, but
I
the-
just surround myself with people who
But-
have a better sense of humor.
I get that.
Because you can be funny with
I
making those
understand
kinds
that,
of
like,
jokes.
for you personally, that's probably the case. But you would admit, I think, right, that there's tons of left-wing organizations that do. And they do deplatform people for making those jokes. And they do actually try to, make it so that people become depersoned for life for making those jokes.
I mean, I think that's like a free speech thing, and I don't believe in depersoning or deplatforming people.
Yeah, right, but I
you can
think-
cancel people. That's not free
But
speech.
I think it's the very idea that
You can
people advocate
disagree.
the idea that anything is so insensitive that it's just you're just not allowed to go after it. I agree. Like, look, some of that shit makes me mad. Like when the Charlie Kirk stuff happens, makes me mad.
Makes me mad too.
And I'm like, look, what are you fucking doing, you piece of shit? Sure,
That
that's
is a piece of-
terrible.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
awful. You know what I mean? But on the other hand,
Why does that make you mad and not an our joke?
but it making me mad doesn't mean that I'm don't understand that people like this who may be saying insensitive things or having sensitive jokes that offend my delicate sensibilities, right, aren't actually doing that because they're trying to make sense of the morbid sense of the world. Now, there's a difference.
I don't
between,
think that's what's going
There's
through a lot
a
of
difference
people's
between
heads.
that and like the guy deserved it. That should have happened to him. That's a different thing altogether, I think.
But even people who are doing it like that, they're not like trying to. That's not the process. That's not the thought process that's going on in people's heads. A lot of people who are making.
How do you know
these
what's
horrible-
going on in their heads?
Because of the sheer amount of people who make jokes about Charlie Kirk out of like just like blatant disrespect and like, oh, I hate him, f him. He
Yeah,
deserved that.
those people, but those people.
Those are a majority of people who
Those
are
people
joking
are
about
making the intent known. So, like for instance, somebody's making an R joke and they're like, yeah, and those bitches deserved it.
That's most of our joke makers.
No,
in
it's
my
not.
opinion.
The thing is like, look, if that's the case, it's like maybe you have a leg to stand on there, right? But just like you would with the Charlie Kirk thing. Mm-hmm. But it's like just to make a joke, in regard, and it has the R word somewhere in it, you know what I mean? And people laugh, and now it's just too insensitive, or a racial joke or something like that. It's like, at some point, you got to stop the oversensitive, like being overly sensitive to these things, because it takes away a useful tool people have for dealing with the
There's
world.
better. You can make
No,
sense
no,
of the
no,
world.
no, no, no. Andrew, I'm sorry, but I have to disagree with you on this because I'm trying to understand how you sort of like think making joke of the R thing is funny. I'm trying to understand that, and then people sit to laugh about that. Do you think anybody ever you don't even want to imagine that? It's just like somebody trying to understand and then making a joke about, again, I'm still gonna you make use or make reference to PDF. How do you do that? How do you think that that is okay? Do you know the gravity of that situation? Do you know the gravity of that situation? That you think it should be joked about or it should be included in a joke. If you're a comedian and you think that is funny, what is actually wrong with the society? I'm sorry, but that's the truth. There, it's not even about policing what to joke about and what not to joke about. You should receive common sense. You should receive common sense because let's even I don't even want to use it for personal case or personal experience, but nobody, no matter what it is, want to ever find themselves in that situation and think it is funny or want to make light of the situation or joke about it. Nobody. And talk about the Charlie Kirk thing. Nobody should ever think that that is funny or that is humorous to joke about or to laugh about. And you see people who sort of think, oh, because I'm not even for the platforming or counseling, whatever. I can disagree with you. But again, how do you sit down and then you think that what happened to Charlie Kirk is funny? How do you do that? It's almost the same thing as thinking that the arrow thing is funny or the PDF thing is funny. I mean, you should receive common. If you have common sense, you're supposed to know that these are social. It's just like if you're laughing about it, or if you think it is funny, you're sort of kind of making it seem like okay, on a societal norm that's normal. That's okay. It's just like Charlie Kirk stuff or what happened to Charlie Kirk. People who laugh about it, seems to be like, oh, be in agreement, like, oh, he deserved it. It makes it okay. Really? See, when it comes to that Charlie Kirk, oh, I could talk over and talk and talk and talk and talk about that because it's not okay. And the same thing goes for this R word or R thing, equating it to PDF.
Make sense of the world and of events in much better ways. Just educate yourself. Or
How do
something.
you know? Like, what makes you think that you get to
Because
govern?
I understand these events and I understand these
Well,
things
you
without
don't-
having to make these jokes.
How do you know that you can govern how people interact with the world with humor? Like humor's
I'm
really,
not governing others.
Yeah,
I'm just-
humor's really intersubjective and it's really personalized. And the thing is like you can say an offensive thing to someone you didn't even mean it to be offensive.
But
right?
it's also not just about you and how you're using tools to make sense of things in the world.
Yeah, it's about
also
everybody
about-
but you.
No.
It's
also
about the nebulous whole.
No, I'm saying it's about also having just respect for example, like women who've gone through that, or people who like 9/11 or Charlie Kirk. Like, I think it's good to just have respect and like a certain level of sensitivity towards things like that. The same way the Charlie Kirk thing pissed you off, which I think it's really interesting that bothers you, but then like our jokes don't bother
Do you see
you.
the distinction of
Why are you
somebody
picking and
saying,
choosing?
if somebody, didn't I already qualify this? Like if somebody said, Charlie Kirk had that coming, good, he deserved it.
That's what people
right?
are saying. That's what people
Somebody
were dressing up as
saying,
him.
oh, she had it coming, she deserved it. No, they're not saying that.
So do you think they're like, oh, that event was so shocking, let me dress up as him for Halloween so I can process this shocking event?
I think there's some people who didn't think that he had that coming. and just were trying to be edgy. I think that's the case. I've talked to them. Like I talked to them on TikTok. I didn't think that. Now there was also some of them who I fucking knew. Okay, and they would tell me. They'd be like, "Yeah, I wish that guy would fucking die." Good.
But do you notice how you can be a normal individual who just like sees what happens and processes it normally without dressing up as him, and how that's maybe like a better thing?
Yeah,
to
I
do?
get it, but we have
That's
to have.
what I'm saying.
But you have to have contextualization for things.
Contextualize things normally and don't be a weirdo
Well, there's
who
no.
makes rude jokes.
Well, what's normal? Is trans normal?
What?
Is trans normal?
Are trans people normal?
Yeah, is being trans normal.
I mean, it's not like most people aren't trans, so I guess it's not typical.
It's not
in that
normal,
sense.
so we can't. So then, I should process trans people the normal way by being like, well, it's not normal. Is that how I should do that?
Okay, I'm struggling to understand how you're like.
Well, I'm just
in what way you're
saying
trying to draw in
when
trans
you make
people.
these appeals to normalcy, and if you make an appeal to normalcy, you're like appealing to, well, that's not normal. What you're doing is not normal. It's irregular. It's not normal. It's like, well, then you have to apply that to everything that's not normal. Then.
Okay, so are you saying like how does someone process the existence of trans people given that it's not a common thing?
I think they use
You
humor.
say, okay, you want to identify that way. I'm going to mind my own business.
I think
and
they use
respect you.
humor. That's what I think. I think most people use humor to process it for the more. Yeah.
I mean, most people don't make our jokes and dress up as Charlie Kirk and joke about that kind of thing.
I agree. Most people don't do that, but
And
I
I'm
think,
glad most people
But
don't
I
do
do
that.
think that people make very morbid jokes about Charlie Kirk that don't mean him harm. Just like I think that
And I don't
people,
think that's a good thing. I don't think it's good
and
to make fun
I
of
know
Charlie
you
Kirk.
don't, but my point is, again, I know you don't think so, but I'm making the case that I do.
lot of people don't think so.
Yeah, but that's nice. But I'm just saying, like,
And that's a better
you can't-
society than if everyone were
How
to
do you
make
know
those
that
jokes.
that's a better? It doesn't seem like curtailing what people can
Because it's
say
one
is a
based
better
on
society.
It's one based on less judgment and out of more respect for other people.
Is that it? Is that what our highest value should be? Just less judgment on people? Because society's gotten pretty fucked up since we stopped judging people. It's gotten pretty fucked up. In case you didn't know, what age do you think you're going to be able to buy a house?
Hopefully in my late 20s.
Hopefully in your late 20s, maybe early 30s.
I don't have my whole life planned out. I'm 18.
Yeah, I know, but maybe your early 30s. You know,
Depends on the trajectory of my career.
It gets worse and worse and worse every single year, right?
Okay, are we talking about the economy now or judgment?
It's not just
in
the
society?
economy; it's the entire judgment of society. The way in which we engage with society at large has now been put into this box of be nice, and it's like, maybe if we were a little meaner, it'd be like, no, fuck that. You shouldn't have to wait till you're 30 to buy a house, right? Now, fuck that, and fuck you.
Is
Or
saying
maybe,
you shouldn't have to
or
wait
maybe
until
you
you're
can look
30 to
over and
buy
you
a
can be
house.
like, maybe a lot of these SA cases actually would go down if it were the case that people interacted better with the environments that they were in, with the clothing that they wore, and the people that they were around. Like, that makes fucking sense to people. It's like, well, that's too much. You can't say that. And it's like, I think you can and should.
You can say something without making a stupid joke about it.
Yeah, but I mean, how that's processed by people is often through humor. That's my point.
What do you
No, no. Andrew, I understand what you're trying to say. But in this one, no, 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 no. And this is not even about being a leftist or whatever that is. No. Yeah, see, again, I'm still gonna come from the same angle. No, you don't do that. No, you don't do that. Even DV, you don't even make joke about that situation. I think there was a particular video that I saw that people sort of like, oh, it's okay to make or to find humor in DV. How do you do that? I'm trying to understand that. Like, how do you do that to understand the situation? No, you don't. No, that's not funny. It's not even, there's nothing humorous about it. I'm sorry, but no, when it comes to this, so anything like what is important in the society. And when we talk about importance, we're talking about society still finds a way, like society have not actually dealt with this because it's a huge problem. Some people may not even think it's huge, but it is. There's some these are some things that occur daily. And again, talk about Charlie Kirk. It may not be a normal thing for some people to understand that there are people who potentially will go through this or experience this, but that is not normal. Nobody should be unalived for their opinion or what they think or their views or thoughts of opinion just because you don't agree with them. Nobody should. Nobody should. There are things that even your common sense will understand that no, there's nothing funny about this. You don't make fun about arraying, nor do you make fun of or humor or make skits of PDFing or DV. And that's the problem because lots of people make joke about these things, and you see lots of people who wanna be. I will always use it. The wannabes, wannabe comedians, wannabe skit makers make these things to be joke or to be a joke. How do you do that? It's not even funny. Yeah, I understand people's opinion potentially is gonna be different, and people be like that. You thought processing about it. What? Wait, what did he say? He said something. Let me take it back.
What do you find acceptable to joke about? Like, can black
I
people
mean,
joke about white people? Like,
I mean,
make racial
can you
jokes?
can you give me like a specific example and then I'll like say yes or like if I find that acceptable?
Can I
or
make
not.
a racist joke towards white people as an example?
Can you
prob-
as a white person?
I can't think of one off the top of my head, but why don't you answer my question first? Is it okay? Like, there's this concept of punching up. Can a
Can you
black
call me
person-
a mayonnaise eater?
Can a black person make like a racially insensitive joke towards whites? A joke.
Yeah, they can.
Can a white person?
Oh no, no.
make
Are you saying if I think it's right or wrong, or if they?
well,
What do you mean? Like, are you asking me? Do I
like,
think
should
black
there
people
not,
can?
should black comedians never direct any sort of racial jokes in the context like white towards white people?
I mean, I don't think that's nearly as severe as like a R joke. But I'm not.
Sure,
Again, I'm
I'll
not
go
here.
ahead and
I'm not
grant
here
it's
to say
as-
you should do this.
I'll
you should
grant
that-
it's
on
not
that.
as severe. Are you against black people making jokes about white people, like racial jokes about white people?
What is a racial joke you can make about a white person? I'm just
Okay,
curious.
can you make a sexist joke?
like towards
Can,
women?
towards anybody, but sure, towards women.
Well, yeah, you can make a sexist
Are
joke.
there such things as sexist jokes? Are
Yeah.
there such things as racist jokes?
Yeah, I'm just curious, like
Thus-
what a racist joke is towards white person, because like
Thus,
usually
could
there's not
you-
as many judgments towards like being white, like oh you're white.
For the sake of conversation, I'll go ahead and grant it, but you can still make a racist joke about white people.
Are you asking me if I think that's right or wrong, or if that's
I'm just
possible?
first I'm asking if it's possible.
Well, purely because I struggle to think of an example of that kind of joke. I'm like a little.
Well, whether you can
confused.
think of an example or not would be irrelevant. I don't need you to.
I just don't know what that looks like. You know.
Well, could you think of a racist joke towards a black person?
Yes, because there's a lot more of like there's a lot more connotations.
How about just like a joke that involves the C word or something?
Are you asking me if I think that's right or wrong? I mean, I personally like. I think it's like not the best word to use.
Okay,
necessarily.
but should we preclude, or would you be in favor of precluding black comedians from making racist?
like policing them and saying like, hey, you should do that. You can't say that.
Well, okay, in the same way that you say we shouldn't make jokes, right? You're
Because
totally
that
against
that
it.
has to do with like a whole crime. Like like again, I'm
I understand
attaching
it's
the biggest.
different. I understand it's different.
policing the
but we
highest
would
degree.
agree that racism and rape are both bad things, right?
Yes.
And you might categorize-
racism towards white people today is not as bad as sexual, like full on.
How do we put like
yeah,
a label
sure,
on that?
I'm willing to
though?
grant that.
How do you get to make these
decide
judgments?
on, like, if
who the
rape-
fuck
like, a
makes these
racist
judgments?
joke-
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Okay. Here I see and understand what they are doing. When it comes to race, right? I still maintain this stance. Whether black, white, purple, pink, whoever you are, don't make like racist jokes. No, that's not funny. That's not funny. There are things. Again, I'm still like there are things that even you as a comedian you're supposed to have common sense. There are some you can make jokes about other things or thi- there are many lots of things you can think of rather than some really like what and I understand her stance that she is not kind of consistent in that, but I mean No. And I'm not coming to tell you that you should do this or you should not. But common sense is supposed to tell you. But again, I'm not gonna subscribe to those that aren't funny. And that's just the truth. What is not funny is not funny. You cannot come here and say you're making a joke about R word, PDF, or Charlie Cake, or DV, or even the race thing. There are other things you can. Because these are like you're supposed to know that. Right? You're supposed to know. And lots of people think it is funny. It is not. It is not. Because these are societal issues that are very important in the society. So you think by understand for you to understand it, you have to make a joke for you to understand. How do you do that? It's like somebody, I don't even want to use the Charlie Kirk one, but it's like somebody unaliving somebody, and then for you to understand how and why the person did it, you have to make a joke about it. No, no, no. Receive common sense. Receive common sense. And I understand what they are trying to say. Like they are trying to see if she is gonna be consistent in her answers or whatever. I understand that. But again, for me, I'm like consistency. This across board is not even about policing, or it's not about telling somebody what to make joke of and what not to make joke of or joke about. Comedians are supposed to have common sense. And that's just the truth. It's not even about being woke. But people say sort of tend to be like, okay, but it's not. Because I mean there are some when you look at lots of old comedy videos or skit videos and all that where they make joke about some things. Some yeah, lots of them are quite funny. Not what we see now. Lots of them are quite funny. Not what we see now where every the wannabes wanna be um comedians, skit makers and find things that let me know what you think. Obviously, I understand lots of people are gonna have a different stance in this. I would love your thoughts and your contribution in the comments below. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that stuff. And until next time, see you in the next video. All right, so this is a shout out and thank you to members on this channel. Thank you so much for being a member on this channel. Your love and support is immensely or are immensely appreciated. And if you want to sign up to be a member on this channel, click the link in the description below and sign up to become a member. Thank you so much, and I truly appreciate your support and your love on this channel.